How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Positive Mindset Podcast, where we work together to raise our vibration, lift our perspective, and build a positive mindset. My name is Henry, and in this episode, we're going to talk about how to change your frequency. If you want to feel a different way, think a different way, or act a different way than you are now, whether it's more positive, more free, more abundant, whatever energy you want. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to create that for yourself. But before we get started, we're going to take a few minutes to slow down, zero in. We're going to take some deep, healing, meditative breaths to help us align on the frequency that we want in our lives. So you can pick a word. It can be love, joy, happiness, abundance, whatever frequency you want. And we're going to take a deep breath in. And as you're breathing in, you're going to say the word over and over and over again. Really charge yourself up with that energy. And then as you're holding your breath, visualize yourself doing something in that frequency. And then once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. And out. All right, well, we're going to do another deep breath. This one is about alignment, about getting ourselves in receiving mode so that we can receive the message that we need to hear today to get us in that positive perspective. So just imagine that you are surrounded by the most healing, uplifting energy that's meant specifically for you. It could have a certain color, a certain taste, a certain smell, however you imagine it. And when you breathe it in, it's going to charge you up. It's going to break down the negativity, the blocks, the weight, everything that's just been holding you back. And then once you exhale, it's going to take all of that with it, leaving you in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take another deep breath in. And out. So before we dive into this message, I want to say thank you to everyone that did reach out to my wife. A couple episodes ago, I put her Instagram link in the description. She is someone that struggles with mental health, depression, and she made a post recently where she shared that with a group of people, and she ended up putting that video on social media. What I didn't realize is that her Instagram was private, so I know a lot of you weren't able to see it until a little bit through the weekend when I realized that, and she shifted it. But thank you so much for doing that. If it was something that you wanted to do, this is a little surprise that I wanted to do for her to, encourage her in her journey as she goes through mental health and wellness. I'll put the link. It'll be the top link in the description to the video that she did it. And if you want to drop a like or a comment or just anything, it would mean the absolute world to me. And I know it would help encourage her in her journey as she continues to grow and raise her energy. So if you want to shift your energy, if you want to change the frequency of what it is that you want to be, we have to understand that the version that we are today is our creation. You have created, whether it's internally or externally, you have created who you think you are. And it's being processed in two ways: consciously, where you're aware of the thoughts, and subconsciously. But it's the same process. A thought is frequency. And so the more you have that thought, the more frequency you create of that in your life. And of course, there are extreme circumstances that happen that can shift your energy, that can bring you down against your thoughts. Of course that can happen because that's what this whole experience is. But when that's not happening, when you're not in extreme circumstances, you can control it. You can even control it in those circumstances, but most of us are just struggling to enjoy the day, struggling to make it through work, struggling to make it through our relationships, struggling to make it financially. Like we're going through things that on the surface sound and should be easy to handle. But for some reason, we're struggling internally to feel the inner peace that we desire. So what I want you to do is just take a few seconds to slow down with me. We're going to take another deep breath so that way we can relax for this exercise. So go ahead and get yourself comfortable for a second and then take a deep breath in. And out. Now you can either repeat after me out loud or say it in your head, but I want you to have this thought about yourself. I make $1 billion a year. I can run 1 mile in 30 seconds. I am 10 feet tall. I am 3,000 years old. When you say all of those things, they don't apply to you. And so we're going to do it again. And I want you to listen to your body, listen to your mind when you say those things. Does your mind argue with it? Do you disagree with it? Because none of them are true. So they're not going to resonate with you. So let's do it one more time. We're going to take another deep breath in, and we're going to say a few things that don't align with us, and really listen and feel how your body feels. So go ahead and take another deep breath in. And out. I make $1 billion a year. I am 10 feet tall. I have 10,000 cars in my driveway. I have the ability to fly. You see, none of those things are true. And when we say the statement that isn't true, our body rejects it. Our mind argues with it because we know it's not the truth. And so if we do that to a thought, which is a frequency, that means there are certain thoughts and frequencies that we do resonate with. And if we can resonate with a frequency, that means a frequency can affect how we resonate, because you felt that. You felt the untruth. You feel it when someone says something hurtful to you. When someone says words and they affect you, it's the frequency and what the words mean that are affecting your frequency. It's not resonating with you. It's hurting. It's making you uncomfortable. That's what's happening. And so we have a baseline or a certain frequency that we're consciously or subconsciously resonating in. And so if you want to change it, you have to start by creating the thoughts that you want. Because if you can create the thought that you want, that will eventually turn into the creation of the energy that you want. But the key is consistency. If you are 30 years old or 40 years old or 50 years old or 18 years old, however old you are, that's how long you have been creating the frequency that you're in. And that frequency has momentum. So if you want to shift it, you're going to have to stop the momentum of the frequency that you've created and start moving it the other way. So it's not going to happen immediately. But if you pick one thing that you want to change, maybe it's how you handle a certain situation, maybe it's how you think about food, maybe it's how you think about yourself, maybe it's how you think about your job, whatever it is, when you pick that one thing and start challenging it with the frequency that you want, so maybe you have a commute to work and you don't like this commute, it's traffic, it's long, you're sitting there, you wish you were home, you wish you didn't have to do it, you change that. You start overriding your thoughts. It's going to feel fake at first, but you start saying, I love this commute. This commute benefits me because it gives me time to listen to podcasts. It gives me time to sit and think. There are so many times in my life where I just wish I had a few moments to myself, and this commute gives me that. I'm so thankful for this commute because it takes me to a job that pays the bills, that allows me to live the life that I want. I'm so thankful for this commute because it allows me to view the world and stop and not be moving so fast for just a few moments of my day, where I can observe people. I can observe the architecture of the buildings around me. I can enjoy my car. I can enjoy just being for a few moments. I'm so thankful for this. And so when you start doing that at first, it's going to feel fake. It's going to feel like work, because you have to understand you have momentum of energy going one way, and you're trying to push energy into that to change direction. So not only are you trying to move a new direction that you're not used to doing, you have the full momentum of the frequency that you created up until this point, going the opposite way of where you're trying to go, pushing against you. But over time, because you are the creator, it starts getting easier. It starts becoming the default. It starts becoming automatic. It starts happening consciously and subconsciously. And before you know it, you've shifted the frequency to that thing. And so when you pick one thing that you want to shift your frequency on and you do it, you'll realize that you can shift the frequency on anything that you desire. Anything and everything is up to you. How you perceive something is what makes it what it is. I've said this example before. If you make $1 million a year and I give you $1,000 just walking down the street, it's not going to change your life. You're not going to value it that much. You might be appreciative of it, but it's not going to mean that much to you. But if you're broke and you've lost your job and you don't have any money coming in, and I see you on the street and I give you $1,000, that same $1,000 is going to be so powerful. It's going to mean the absolute world. You would probably never forget me because I gave you that $1,000. But the 1,000 is the same to both people. It's just $1,000. But your perspective and the perspective of those two situations is different. But you get to choose what your perspective is. So pick one thing and challenge your thoughts on it. You can do anything. Review the situation over and over in your mind. Maybe it's the way you react to your spouse. Maybe you react negatively in the morning. Maybe it's the way you deal with your coworkers. Maybe it's the way you deal with your children, your parents, whoever it is. Start viewing it in your head as the outcome you want, with you in control, and view it again and again and again, and create this alternate reality of frequency in your mind. And the more you do it, the easier it'll be. The first time you try to dribble a basketball, if you've never done it, you're not going to be very good at it. But after doing it for a week, you can dribble it around. After doing it for a year, you can probably dribble through your legs, maybe behind the back. After doing it for multiple years, you can do it with your eyes closed, you can do passes, you can shoot it, you can do all these things because you continued to practice it. Why wouldn't your thoughts be the same way? You are the observer and creator of your thoughts, but you are not them. They do not control you unless you let them. If you are letting your thoughts control you and you're letting your thoughts just operate on autopilot, then you are doing that by choice. You are having an experience that way. It is not wrong. Don't be hard on yourself. That's just the experience you've been having. But you're listening to this podcast now, and a piece of you is starting to realize that you do have control. You don't have control of others. You shouldn't be trying to force other people on how they act. But you have the gift of your own experience. You have the gift of your own perspective. You have the opportunity to realize that everything is happening for you as an opportunity to find the light. And that's where it breaks down to gratitude. That again is why gratitude is the process of changing frequency. We call it gratitude because we generally use it for good things. And why wouldn't you want to change your energy to a higher level, to a more positive place? That's why we call it gratitude. That's why it's that good thing. And a lot of people practice gratitude by saying all the things that they're thankful for. But the more you do it, picking one thing at a time, the more you'll start to believe in the power that you have. The more you'll be able to start using that power for the greater good. The more you'll start to be the example and be the rising tide that lifts all ships. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode was impactful and got you thinking about what you can do to change your frequency and live the experience that you desire. If you want to make sure you don't miss a single episode, make sure you subscribe to my email list. There's a link in the description. It'll keep you up to date on every single episode. And if you want to follow me on social media, there's my Instagram and TikTok down below. I appreciate everybody that has reached out to me there. Of course, the direct messages mean the absolute world to me. Letting me know how the podcast has impacted you is the most heartwarming thing that you could do. So thank you so much for everyone that has done that. Well, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.